Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon. This is Indy Comics Explained, and yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, let's bring in this guy. It's like I see this guy too much. He's always around. He's like a tick. You can't get rid of him.
Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the real JD Rosario, coming from Unstoppable Comics. Been publishing books for a minute or two, and I am finally invited to this show, and I'm excited to be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation, Calderon.
You're welcome. Finally invited. Okay. All right. Let's bring on our esteemed Coco host.
For showtimes and theaters, please press 1.
There you go.
You're a fucking man, baby. You're a fucking man.
How's everybody doing? I'm just going crazy here. It's all good. So.
All right, Randy, just introduce yourself real quick.
Oh, hey, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I do Arrow Comics, arrowcomics.store. Go over there and take a look. Lots of stuff.
Nice.
And I'm on the Indy Comics Network. So
there you go. Mr. SK, please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm from Australia, and look, thanks for the invite. And I've got a new project running on Kickstarter right now, which I'm happy to show you guys when the time is right.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Hello.
who's that guy?
I'm on the other side of the fence. I see how it is. Okay, anyway, I'm C. Michael Lanning, graphic translator. Done work for Calico Shard for Arrow Comics and the upcoming Doghouse from Haslam Productions, which is right now Kickstarter, and with Rodney Fyke. And yeah, now tonight I'm a guest, so I don't have to ask any questions, right, JD?
We'll see.
I come prepared anyway.
You know how prepared I'm coming for the night.
Exactly. I was on his show. I was on his show last night. He actually had questions. He had a topic. He prepared. He comes on to my show. He's like, I'll wing it. Don't worry about it.
I'm the plucky sidekick over here, baby. You know what I mean? I can free bowl it. I'm not wearing any underwear while this show is going.
Listen,
Ed McMahon, Johnny Carson. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. If you were next to me, I would definitely sidekick you.
There we go.
I'm just the Doc Severn for the evening.
There you go.
Yeah.
How you doing, Peter? Please.
Hi, Peter Breau from St. John, New Brunswick, East Coast of Canada. I also have a Kickstarter campaign that I'm going to be talking about later on, and I write for Second Sight Publishing. I write for Caliber Comics, and I write for Antarctic Press.
Very nice.
Hey, everybody. I am Rodney Fyke. I am artist, writer, inker, colorist, all that fun stuff. I am one half of Doghouse with C. Michael Lanning. C did the artwork. I wrote the story, and I'm doing the coloring. We are currently active on Kickstarter, so go check out Doghouse.
Nice.
Nice to be here tonight, guys.
Awesome, man.
Hi. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
You're all good.
Okay. So hi, I'm Justin K. Sweet, and keeping with the dog theme, I'm the writer and creator of Chrome Dog, also an Arrow Comics product, and Randy is boss man, so to speak. So I have currently have the crowdfunding campaign up live on Indiegogo right now. So yeah, check it out, Chrome Dog.
You give me too much credit and power, thus you shall be abused.
Well,
nice.
let the beatings continue until morale improves, right?
Yeah.
Right, boss?
Yeah. All right. So before we
Aye,
begin,
Captain.
I just want to pull this up.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
He has a
Oh,
great
no.
question. Please make him ask it. So
Should just steal it for the vlogs. It's okay.
your master has asked that you say a question, Mr. C. So ask the question.
No, I don't think that's fair. I'm not here.
That's completely fair. That's completely fair.
We put him on the spot. Plus, it gives me time to come up with something.
Yeah, I will gladly surrender the co-host position to you.
Oh no, that doesn't work that way.
You gotta ask.
I'm just happy to be here.
You're on the
Yep.
spot. You're on the
Be the
spot.
co-host.
Well,
buddy.
she says you had a question. I mean, I'm assuming you have a question. Is she saying you got one? What
I
is it?
have
She
a
said
question.
you had a question. JD has a question.
No, JD, he has a great question.
Oh, okay.
She's talking about me. Yeah.
Mr. Lanning. Like I
Needed
said,
Okay,
his-
so we
put him on the spot.
All right, okay, all right, fine. I've got your question. So we've looked at comic book trends in the past, and when the economy is low, we see comic books rise because they're supposedly a cheap form of entertainment, right? But is that really going to be relevant now, considering the fact that you can buy a streaming service for a month at the same price you can buy a comic book? Now, like you were back then when you had like the war and everything and you were sending soldier stuff, now they have their phones to watch things. So is that still a relevant marketing term? Can we still look at a low economy as being a high boost for comics?
Interesting. All right, let's start with Mr. Justin.
Oh boy, the rookie, right? So, I would think. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to judge. I mean, and it depends on the actual comic itself. Like, are you looking at a floppy that's in the store already, or are you looking at backing a crowdfunding campaign, or some other premium item? Whether it's a key issue or whatnot. I mean, obviously, people are going to choose to buy food rather than that key issue they need right now, right? So when it comes to entertainment value, I mean, having been a soldier, even though I didn't go overseas to and have to be entertained in that way. I mean, back then I had a Game Boy, so I mean, my entertainment came from multiple sources. But I also had a pack of comic books that were stowed away in my rucksack. When we did do field training. So, I mean, it's still, to me, it's a viable alternative for entertainment, and you also. You don't have to worry about the comic being censored by the time you watch it on the streaming channel. There's actual value in holding the comic in your hands and engaging with the material. So
that's fair. Rodney, what are you thinking?
I think it depends solely on the individual and their budget for the month or week or whatever it is. Certainly those that can afford it. And I was a kid that could never afford comics and always found a way to go drop $20 at the comic shop and this was back in the 80s when $20 was something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like any form of entertainment, if they want it, they're going to seek it out no matter what the financial or situation or the economic situation is. And Justin's right. It's a tangible form of something they can hold in their hand that they possess. It's theirs. That's how I feel about it.
Cool. Peter, what are you thinking?
First comic book I bought was 25 cents, and now they're a lot more than that. But I've continued to buy them ever since, and regardless of what my economic status was at the time, I've always, especially titles that I like, and for example, Hellblazer. I'm a big Hellblazer fan, and I even bought the new 52 Hellblazer stuff, even though I knew it wasn't going to be very good, but I just held out hope that it would be. And so I like. I tried digital comics there for a while, but I just couldn't get into it. Just like I just couldn't get into, like, everyone was telling me that the e-readers were going to be the death of paperbacks. And I've got more paperbacks now than I did when and I had an e-reader. I don't even use it anymore, right? There's just something about, like, they said, there's just something about holding a comic book in your hand. There's something about the whole experience of going to a comic book store and looking at all the comic books that are out there. They're displayed, the covers, and I grab what's in my pull, and then I look around and see what else is out there. Because, like, sometimes there's something that'll catch my eye that I might have missed, and if it's catchy and it looks good, I'll drop the money for it, and if it keeps my attention long enough that I read it from cover to cover, I might even come back and get more. But the whole I think the whole experience of going to a comic book shop and then being able to buy something that you can hold on to and then having it, like, you know, I've got dressers and like, if you could see over there, it's just full of comics that I've been collecting for, you know, for the last, you know, 35 years, you know, and it's just, there's something about it. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't think it'll change. You know, I think there's always going to be people. It's just like when books, you know what I mean? People read books first, and then, you know, and then radio come out, and that was going to be the death of books, and it wasn't. And then TV come out, was going to be the death of radio, and it wasn't. And, you know, and then, you know, it was going to both of them were going to be the death of books, and they weren't. And then the e-reader was going to be the death of books, and it wasn't. And, you know, so I think that there'll always be an audience for floppy comic books.
Fair enough. S, what are you thinking?
Unmute first. Look, I have to say, the last, say, since 2020, a lot actually has changed in the way I process the medium, if you will. So, for example, I love digital comics. I absolutely love it because there's a lot of capability. Say, there's humble bundles and whatever. You pay a really small price and you get so like terabytes of comics. Like, I bought the Spawn I think Humble Bundle, and there were like 200 comics there. I bought the Archie one. I bought I'm sitting on more comics than I have time to read, and it's a really, really great place to be in.
And excuse me, what's this called? Humble Bundle?
So every once in a while, different publishers, they will come in and say, "Hey, look, for an X amount, we like, I don't know, I'll make some numbers up. For $50, I'm going to give you 100 digital issues of Spawn. Or $100, I'll give you 100 digital issues of Archie or whatever." It comes up every once in a while. And it's a really fantastic resource in terms of, hey, look, you just have to wait for the right time and you can get a whole stack of digital comics for a really, really cheap price. And I've reached a stage now, like I said, I've got more on my reading list than I have time. The other thing that's been really good, especially say with Kickstarters, and if you guys check the number of stuff I backed more than 300 different projects, and I continue to, because it's something I suppose all of you guys understand as a community. If you see something you like, you know, chuck a couple of dollars that way. It all comes back. But the main thing about what a lot of people are doing, which I absolutely love, is I'm not just buying your PDF. When I tend to buy a digital reward tier, I get, in most cases, about 10 other comics that I've never, ever heard of. And it's fantastic. So I back whatever. And suddenly I've even reached a stage for my Kickstarter rewards. I've got more digital comics now than I have to read. And so the only physical comics I tend to buy right now is stuff that I couldn't buy as a kid. I'll give you an example. There was a Wonder Woman 72, which had the most classic Brian Bolland cover, and I'll try to dig it up. It's been made into a statue. So that cover was actually so good, DC decided, I'm going to make a statue out of it. So I'm actually going back in time to see the issues that I never could afford, never could buy as a kid. And I'm going, you know what? Those are the stuff I'm getting. And so, since 2020, everything has shifted. I've gone almost purely digital. And in terms of that it has increased my spending, to be really fair, because where I used to buy 1 or 2 issues, I'll now go, well, if it's digital and this guy is giving me 300 pages of stuff, I'll chuck my money that side. So my spend has almost moved totally digitally. And I didn't really realize it until you guys really brought it up.
Hey, SK, let me ask you a question. How old are you?
I'm about 40-ish, so without giving too much away.
Okay.
So
No,
I
that's
started
fair.
collecting in the 80s. So a lot of the stuff which I really wanted to get were a lot of 80s comics. So
Well, the reason I ask because a lot of the younger consumers they're really dig the digital stuff. I personally have a Marvel Unlimited subscription that I've had for like 5 years, and I love it in so much as the fact that when I lay down to go to bed and I turn the light off, I roll over and I read an issue of Spider-Man. I don't have to go dig it out of the box. I don't have to worry about screwing it up. So it's good for that aspect. If there's something that I haven't seen that I want to try, before I go buy the tangible copy, I pull it up on Marvel Limited and kind of thumb through it and see if it's something worth buying. So yeah, those are other things to consider too.
Oh, definitely. And look, and it sounds really bad, but as of right now, the current floppies I get, if the cover is awesome, that's a selling point for me now. It's because I can read the internals, like you said. I prefer to read the internals digitally now. I've almost transitioned totally. So if you want to sell me on some pretty artwork that I can put up somewhere. That's again, I've shifted, and it's only been in the last 2-3 years. It's been almost a total shift that way.
Cool. Randy, what are you thinking?
Well, I think you're watching the market evolve every month, every year, and that there's a lot of very interesting changes that are coming that we're not seeing just yet. But I think the market's going to split quite a few different ways. You're going to have a percentage of your people that are digital, absolutely, because they're there. You're going to have your people that are always going to be loyal to manga now because it's there. You know, you're still going to have people reading Marvel and DC at the same time, but the larger market for the physical books right now is in the collectability market. But I think because of the variant covers and the fact that you slab them and you pretty much have a glorified trading card there with a number on it. I just got done at a 2-day show, and there was a surprising number of dealers there with slabbed books. And different, and now that what CGC keeps record of what number sells at what book sells at what or has sold at what price. Everybody's got a price guide, or all the dealers especially have a price guide that's accessible over their phone, which they really didn't have before. They had the Overstreet guide, which was only out once a year, so it really didn't catch a lot of those changes. And there's a few other key comic sites that tell you about where the big hot comic is. Anyway, but I also think you're going to see a return. Somebody out there, not Marvel, not DC, is going to come out with an inexpensive, totally accessible comic. Archie's Close, with the digest that they sell at the grocery stores, because that's kept that company alive for 25, 30, 40 years by selling that Archie digest at the checkout counter for somebody to still buy as an impulse item, even though it's $7, $8, $9. They're still buying it, and they're still moving a lot of product. That Archie has even started putting original comics in those digests. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but Steve Butler's been doing a lot of original work, and it's short story work, usually goes in the front of the Archie characters running across one of their pantheon of superheroes that they have. Or some one character was even a character I had never heard of, some black web, dark web person. It was pretty interesting just to open up one of those comic digests and see an original story. But I think you're going to see somebody come out with an accessible format that'll be physical, that'll be cheap. And I think the manga is really close to it at you see it at 5 and Below, and they're kicking out really great 150, 200 page volumes of manga for like $5. So the readers now are starting to turn away from, in my opinion, away from a lot of the retail shops where they're paying top cover price, and they're looking for accessible reading material as inexpensively as possible. And that your 5 and Belows, your Ollie's, your Odd Lots, wherever they're selling those discount books or comic packs or wherever, especially now that times are hard, you're going to see people start going out and trying to find a lower price point wherever they can get it. The most bang for their buck, I guess the cliche is. And the other day I ran across this issue. Yeah, there you go. Here's an Archie double digest. I ran across this issue I picked up quite a while ago, 2005. They called it Avengers Assembled, back during the Gemis days. And I have no idea where I got it. I just know that I got it. It's got 3 issues of the Avengers in it. It's small. It's digest size. It's in newsprint. It's black and white.
Randy, I've got that in color, but it's a trade.
It retailed for $1. I don't know if they did any more with it, if they did any experimenting with it or whatever. And DC also quite a few years ago did Wednesday comics, where they were kicking out a regular newspaper comic like I was doing with Flint Comics.
Oh yeah.
They kicked out Wednesday comics for and that was $4. There's something. Oh yeah, and the little paperback books. Yeah. Those were great, but practically unreadable, you know.
Yeah, I know.
The British market for the longest time kicked out what they called pocket books that were collections of different, excuse the cobwebs here, selections of different Marvel age stuff. And they went through their entire library over in England in black and white about 4 times over before they started Captain Britain. So they realized that the market over there was that great. So these kids at the time were picking up a 15p, which is probably what, 25, 30 cents for a newsprint book with an ad on the back. You know, and when DC did Wednesday comics, they were charging $4 for it. And it was a huge tabloid newspaper that folded out really nice, best quality artists that they could find at the time to do a lot of character, you know, almost like Sunday pages there. And I don't know why they ever stopped it, because they need to find something right now that's going to keep people coming into the retail shops if they expect the retail shops to survive. And they need something there that's going to bring them back every week. And they've already, in my mind, they so muddied the water digitally, because the retailers were so mad that they were doing digital comics that they had to charge pretty much cover price for a digital file. That I think it really crippled the American digital comic market. And Shonen Jump saw that opportunity. They popped right in there for a fee. Marvel's now got the Marvel Universe fee, and I imagine DC's doing something, DC Unlimited or whatever. But it's going to take them a long time to catch up. But somebody's going to come out with an interesting little format, and they're going to pop into them dollar stores or those 5 and belows. And when they do, I want to see it because I want to copy it.
Can I jump in on that one? I don't think like all of us here are not the right audience for it, but I've got kids, and the stuff which actually sells, like if you go to all the bookstores, the Kmart's, the Walmart's, whatever, is the scholastic graphic novels. If you want in the comic medium, it isn't superheroes now. Dogman, my girl has every single thing.
Yeah.
Raina's books, Smile, Babysitter's Club. Those are all New York Times bestsellers. Those are all the books that are at the counter that at Target. You're going, oh gosh, the new Dogman's out. Grab it. All those sell like crazy. I think Dogman outsells Marvel in its entirety.
Oh yeah,
probably.
So, yeah. And it's not even talking. It's not even a comparison. It's like Marvel 20,000 issues is considered, you know what, not bad. These are in the millions of sale. These are, and so it's not even close. So that's the next generation of comics. But the medium,
Go ahead, S.
Oh, it's just the targeting of that. That is the old spinner racks. That is the old Spider-Man at the news agency. That's as you buy a pack of gum, you might grab a comic. Dogman and stuff has replaced all of that. I love it. I think it's really good because it introduces the medium. And I have to say, if kids get into the medium, and like one of the things I do as well in Australia is I do a lot of library workshops. I go into schools and stuff like that. That's all they talk about. You bring in a Batman, Superman, whatever, you get the boys excited. You bring in Dogman, everybody's excited.
Yep.
And I would even say right now, it's scary enough, Dogman has probably more proper recognition than Batman. They know Batman exists, but if you ask most kids in school, what was the last Batman comic you read? Well, I saw him in the movies. I saw him in the trailer. What was the last comic you read? Oh, Dogman. Smile, Raina, whatever it is. And so it's totally shifted. And those are actually, like you said, if you want value, that Dogman book is 200-something pages for some of them. And it's hardcover. And it's like $8-9 US. It's a good, thick book, and they enjoy it. And I love to see the print shift.
But let me ask you Let me ask you this question. Hold on.
Okay.
Before we get into this, because you're talking about Dogman getting kids, and we're talking about a younger generation of kids, but you're missing a whole demographic of teenagers to young adults the dog man's not reaching. And let me ask you a question. By the time those kids make it to that, where are you going to be at in your comic making journey?
Oh, so
how is that going to translate for you?
So if you go back, Scholastic, I have to say, is doing a brilliant job with the next. There are books called Amulet. I don't even heard the Amulet series.
Oh yeah, it's a good series.
So exactly. So your Dogman, I'm talking Dogman because the workshops I do and my kids are that age. So that's the one I'm most exposed to. But if you move up slightly, that's the Amulet series. And there's a whole bunch of tween series.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of young adult series. So it's all there already. And the good thing about those series is it's an easier sell to parents because some parents don't want to get their kids superheroes. It just is. They think it's a waste of time. They think it's whatever. I totally disagree. I think superhero genre can be written really, really well. But it's a hard sell for some parents. Now, if you have a book, a graphic novel, where it deals with emotions like growing up, high school, there's even one that deals with band camp, for example. Those ones have the direct appeal to go, hey, book about school. Maybe my kid will like that. Grab that one through. Those are the stuff that's selling. So there is that whole demographic already all covered. And again, it's the whole checkout principle. I'm walking out of Target or whatever. Oh, there's the new Amulet series. My 14-year-old kid, yeah, I'll grab that for him or grab that for her. It's there already. And I love it that because let's face it, with comic stores, it's still a little bit niche. I really miss seeing the Spider-Mans, the Batmans, all the rest of it. Look, it used to be in my local news agency, when you can buy a bottle of milk from, the local store. There used to be a proper spinner rack. It doesn't exist anymore. And that's for me, it's upsetting. I want to say it all back.
It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
the thing with the hardback books, though, is they're $13. Sometimes you'll catch them discounted if you're at Sam's or whatever for $10. But the parents have to buy this. Most of the time, the kids have to beg the parents to buy it, and the parents' income right now is really starting to be tested. So the entertainment, especially for their kid, you already have a Dogman book, I think is going to come into play the next couple of years. And Pilkey and Scholastic and Pilkey are amazing because I keep saying, if you haven't seen Cat Kid Comic Club, Pilkey's done more to get young readers into drawing sequential art than anybody in Marvel and DC in the last 10 years have even remotely tried to approach. And
I've got that one. I've got that book. I don't have it next to me, but I've got
this has got a whole page on how to draw poop. It's amazing.
Nice.
There's spider poop and pig poop and also it's just crazy. But again, it's a larger volume buy for that parents have to do. Even the Archie digests sitting at the grocery store are $7, $8, $9 now. What I'm talking about is something inexpensive, couple bucks, $3, $4 that they're going to see at the checkout counter. How come we're not selling Marvel and DC aren't selling books like this in the same shape as the old Richard's Almanac?
I got it. Can I chime in now?
Sitting there and selling. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. Go for it.
You
just muted yourself. You're
muted.
I'm sorry. I'm working off a laptop here. Sorry, excuse me. All right. So while everybody's talking, I'm doing some research here because I remember writing down a lot of notes. I'm always chiming in on this at New York Comic Con. All right. And I wasn't prepared for this question, so I didn't pull up the notes that I wrote down that from this past October. One of the big reps from Webtoons was there. Excuse me. Let me roll this back for a second. See, fucking great question. Okay. A lot of layers to this, and everybody answered a different portion. So I love the way everyone's perspective came in on this. One of the problems is everybody has a perspective. Okay. Webtoons made almost $900 million fucking dollars last year. All right. The format is there. We're just not utilizing it, right? Because we're children in disguise, right? We're the generation plus X who hasn't come up to that point and knows how to adapt yet. Sorry, it's the plain fucking truth. Outside of the US, people are popping up comic books on web phones. I mean, like nothing. All right. Forget about whether the creators are getting paid or not yet. All right? That's not answering this question, right? The sales, though, they're making the fucking dough, right?
Mhm.
Is it the easiest translatable concept to the movie streaming medium? I believe so. And I don't know about you guys. Whenever I do Comic Cons, there was always some VC entrepreneur coming up to me, pitching me the Netflix of comic books, right? I
Mhm.
never saw any of them amount to anything. All right. Now, when it comes to book sales, hold on, I pulled this up from Publishers Weekly. All right. Adult fiction is pretty much graphic novels. Adult fiction is the largest category in all of publishing sales. All right. With over 289.6 million copies sold. Doesn't matter whether it's in Walmart, Kmart, Target, Food Mart, doesn't fucking matter because they're moving the units, whether it's online through Amazon, whether it's through bookstores, whether it's through manga. Excuse me, that does not include Pilkey and Telgemeier. This does not include the Dogman, Catman, any of that, or the Smile series. This is adult fiction, graphic novels. They're moving the products. It's there. We're not seeing it. We're trapped in our own little worlds, right? We're working on our what's within our own bubble. And sometimes that's gonna end up fucking cutting us hard because we're not looking at all those other factors of the world that's going on without us because we're still trying to hold on to the way the medium was presented back then. And I'm not trying to knock anybody because I'm guilty of this too. I'm still putting out, 24-page full color individual books. So I'm not trying to dump on anybody, but we need to look at these things because if we start to speculate and Bobby agrees with Jimmy, who agrees with Tanya, that's all confirmation bias. And there's no real numbers being given here. So yes, do we love the old stuff? Of course. But you know what? Books are not going to go down to $1 or $2 again unless something really fucking changes. All right. Unless
that's what I'm saying. Something's going to come along and change it.
We had the biggest change in our publishing lives 2 years ago, right? Where the bottleneck of Diamond almost canceled comic books during the pandemic. And if they didn't shift for that, and they're still moving units, there's no way they're going to make it affordable again. It's not. The only way it is going to be affordable, like SK was bringing up, right, is in the humble bundles. In the humble bundles. Yes. I thought I had it, and as it was coming out, I was like, it sounded all fucked up. Because look, we've all done crowdfunding campaigns, right? At least 25 to 30% of all my funding comes from only digital sales in my crowdfunding campaign. And in those sales, I do bundles, right? So I am selling, the entire first issue lot for $20, right? I am selling the entire single issue lot for $60, right? If you're paying for that in print prices, and if in Australia we know shipping ain't cheap, somebody like SK is not going to pay for all that dough. He's not going to drop that, but he still wants to participate. He still wants to know what's up. So if he sees a sale, shit, I don't know about you guys. I see a sale in the store for something I never thought that I was going to buy. Oh my God, that's 70% off. Let me fucking get it before I may not be able to get something I never wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? I'm triggered like that. So apply that to the digital stuff, and people are going to jump on that. So we gotta be careful when we're talking about these things because the numbers are out there.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
All right, so check it out. So here's one of the things about affordability, right? I got a buddy that works with me. This guy works, a coworker. So he likes to read comics, but as I was called earlier, he's cheap. So what does he do? He goes to the library and he picks up omnibuses. He just recently finished reading The Boys, all 6 issues. right, from the library for free. Picks them up. He was getting his Conans from there. He's getting Hellblazer from there. He's getting Sandman from there, and he's reading these books for free.
Mhm.
So this is an option, for everyone. Go to your library, go to your librarian and say, hey, I want this book, I want this book, I want this book. And they'll get them for you because they'll borrow them from other libraries. Sometimes they buy them directly from the publishers. And this is another revenue stream that we as independent comic book publishers are really cut off from. Okay?
Mhm. Yeah, true.
I'll
I'm
get
sorry.
on that one. So look, I love libraries. Absolutely love libraries. Like my books currently are in more than 500 libraries across the world.
Mhm.
And in Australia as well, they have this what they call the library royalty program. So I'm sure
They
the
have it here
US
in Canada too.
Yeah, it's something. It's a perfect, and the whole idea behind it is, like you said, if the book's in the library and your friend borrows it, he'll be less inclined to buy a copy himself, which means a loss of sale to the creator. Absolutely valid and fair point. So for every copy of that book in said library, every year I get a royalty check cut to me from the library. And look, to be fair, it's not enough for me to retire, but
Right.
it's money for jam. So every year, if that book's in that library, the Australian government will go, here's some coin. Every copy you have 500 copies, here's a bit of coin for every single copy that's out there. And more importantly than that little bit of revenue stream, to be fair, is the thing that it gives you. You know how that's the usual saying, there's good exposure and there's bad exposure. Don't work for somebody for exposure. It doesn't. Having your book in the library, it's good exposure, because people who borrow that Boys Omnibus, he might just go, hey, wait, that's one of JD's books. I'll just see what it's like. Oh my God, I love it so much. I'm going to try to reach out to the creator. I'll get his Kickstarter and all the rest of it. The other thing that it leads to as well is I tend to do a lot of workshops in libraries, because most libraries have a lot of what they call givebacks. So they tend to contact local creators to go, hey, come in, do a quick workshop. That's your audience right there. Like, I have to hazard a guess. So many people who've come to my workshops, and I give a little business card at the end of it. Here's my website. Here's my mailing list. If you want to sign up, really appreciate your time. I would say probably you get a conversion of about 20% of every person you give out will come back to support you down the track. Whether it's a backing on a Kickstarter, it's a sale on your website, it's a book that's bought from something down the track. That's how you build your audience almost from the grassroots level. Look, libraries, all props. We need more libraries. We need more libraries.
I mean, I wasn't meaning that as a knock. What I mean is that we're cut off from the fact that it's very difficult for us to get our books into libraries. You can get it. You can find your local library that, you can talk to the librarian and get 1 or 2 in. We got 9,000 public libraries in the U.S.
Sorry,
if
1900.
you can get what?
1900 last time I heard.
No, it's 9. I just Googled it. It's 9,000.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So there's 9,000 public libraries. That doesn't include private libraries that belong to colleges and schools and that sort of thing, right? So that's another set of libraries. If you could just get those places to order one book, that's 9,000 books. If you're usually selling that in trade, that's a good deal of money. I don't think we have a royalty program here in the U.S., but to be honest with you, I'd rather just sell 9,000 books flat and move on. And
You'll be New York Times bestseller if you can move 9,000 books in a week.
Right.
You're, I think, top of the list for that week. Easy.
Right. And the thing is I have spoken to a few librarians, and what they do say is like, if they had to reorder a book, it's a good thing, because that means the kids are stealing it, and that means they're reading them. Okay, so that's one of the things that I always found funny as all hell after talking to one librarian, and she was like, "Yeah," he says, we have kids, we have to reorder these books all the time. She was talking about manga, but she was also talking about Marvel and DC books. They'll take them, they'll steal them, and they just don't come back with them. But she knows, she's like, "Look, I know they're reading them. If they're keeping them, they're reading them." So
looks like that number is growing too, according to Google libraries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
9,000 books, not just in a week. How about 9,000 books in a year? I'd kill for that too.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Lanning, how do you answer your own question?
How do I answer my own question?
You started this.
Finish. Yes, I didn't want to do this. You pulled me into this. I'm going to put it this way. I don't think that we can look at the economy as necessarily a fine point to know when somebody's going to buy comics or when comics is going to be heightened. I don't think it works as well as that. It might have in the past. I don't think we're in that market anymore. Let me tell you this. And I was in a comic book shop, and I don't usually go to the local comic book shop because I have to get on my hands and knees just to look at indie comic. That's how bad the comic book shop is. But it was crowded. It was crowded, and here it's not really an area that's very comic book influenced, but it was crowded. And you know what those guys were talking about up there? They were talking about Spider-Man. They were talking about Superman. They were talking about all this stuff that everybody seems to think is going away. However, these guys were in their 20s. This was younger 20s. These weren't people that grew up like we did. Everybody here's talking about, that you have a book and everything else, but you grew up in the spinner rack age. That's fine, and that's great. We want to appeal to people like us, but we also need to appeal to people behind us.
Yeah.
And so who are these people? Who are these people? Who are these? Yeah, those kids aren't going to be able to buy anything for years to come on their own. And that might be a market that you're going to build into later on. But we're looking at 20s and the 18s to 23-year-olds who are getting a job, getting out there, getting money, getting out from college and everything like that. And that's who was in there talking about Spider-Man, Superman, and they're buying stacks of books. I'm talking about the guy had a pull list this big for just that week. And so it just goes to show you. So what I realized is this: what we're going to start seeing here in a little bit is the kids who are, oh golly, see, this is why I hate you tuning in. Anyway, but now we're looking at kids who were 8 or 10 years old when the first Iron Man came out. Now we're looking, that was almost 13 years ago. So those kids are now 21 to 23 years old. We're going to, I do firmly believe that we're going to start seeing a boom in those superhero comics because they have been inundated by these Marvel movies consistently. These comic book movies, just like I was with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, the first thing I saw was, I know you hate that, JD, but anyway, the first thing I saw was the comic book, and that's what we're going to start seeing. So I think economy only plays a small fraction of that. And Jade, you had a fantastic answer to that. Is webtoons. That was that even goes back to a question I asked before about giving away the comic for free and then trying to make money off of the merchandising from that. Because I was in a different bookstore that had the webtoons, a couple of the webtoons in that should be out there. They had a couple of the webtoons in hardback or in hard form. And they're selling those, but they could get them for free. So what's the deal, guys? Because cream rises to the top. Yes. We can't rest on just the economy's bad. We can go ahead and sell comics that way. I promise you. And no matter what the case is, if they want it, they'll pay for it. That's it. Whether it's $1 or it's $5.
Well, there has to be a quality level to it as well.
Right, but
there has to
every day.
Period.
It happens to us every day, and people aren't realizing this. You get the music for free. You watch TV for free. You listen to the radio and songs for free, and you're paying for the concerts, all right? And you're downloading the streams. Yeah, I mean,
you get the T-shirts.
There you go, man.
The pops. Absolutely.
So, good question.
Yeah, see something that I just thought of when you mentioned Iron Man in 13. To that generation behind us, that is their Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So kind of look at it that way. Yeah, absolutely.
Because Lord knows the current Star Wars isn't their Star Wars.
Very true.
It sure as fuck ain't my Star Wars.
And don't get me wrong, because I'm not discounting Pelkey and everything like that, and that's going to come into play later on. But we're talking about the next 10 years for us indie comic creators. Where is that going to put us as selling comics to people who want to read what we have? That's where I'm at. So.
All right, cool. All right, listen, I'm gonna start this question of yours that you started, Mr. Lanning.
I'm not even...
it ate up a lot of time. So we're gonna go to Mr. SK.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So do you want me to play the video?
Go for it. It's a really short video. It's less than a minute.
Cool.
Man, that was great. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
Nice
thanks.
video.
Look, I did it myself.
Yeah, you should teach me because I don't know how to make them.
Look, it's not as hard. The one thing of video making, since you brought it up, is the timing. That's the thing. You spend half the time going, oh wait, you have a beat that hits here. Do I go change half a second after the beat, half a second before the beat?
Mm-hmm.
You spend hours tinkering on that. So
I have to give you mad props on that video, because too many times I see campaigns on Kickstarter where the video starts and then it's like 2 or 3 minutes of the creator going in and talking about the stuff, and you're just like, here's this really cool video for me to watch and get me into your world. So kudos on that, bro.
Thanks. Look, so transhuman actually, it's if you haven't heard the concept of transhumanism, it's basically the enhancement of the humanity through technology. So, like, I'll throw this one to JD first. How many senses do you think the human body has?
Which JD are you referring to? But yeah, but I believe
the
it's
top one.
5.
No, not correct. You actually have close to about 30, 40 different senses.
Okay.
And I'll throw a couple up to you, and when you hear it, it makes sense. When you step on a floor which is not even, how do you know it's not even? That's your sense of balance. You actually can step on the floor and you can tell, oh wait, that's not even. That's actually in an inner ear thing. You got a little bit of liquid, which almost serves like an equilibrium. When you walk into a room that's hot and you haven't touched anything, so it's not a sense of touch, how do you know the room's hot?
You feel it.
No, it's not a feel because you haven't touched anything yet. So, but how do you know it's hot? It's actually a different sense. So there's actually about 30, 40 different senses that aren't explicit, that don't come under eyes, all the rest of it. So one of the concepts behind transhumanism is, what if technology actually gives you much more senses than that? And one of the examples could be your eyes have basically 3 cones to detect color. Now imagine if we inserted a 4th cone in there. The world will look totally different in terms of color. And not just that, the way you process the color red might be different to the way I process the color red, because it's just basically how your brain interprets it. So technically, if we swap brains, what you see as red is totally different to the way I perceive as red. And it's all a perception issue. So it's the whole, and so transhuman is basically on this cusp of cybernetics, where all these things are changing, and it delves a lot into it. Look, they are a little bit of heavy topics in terms of they do talk about religion a little bit in terms of, hey, look, how much humanity is left, how much you should leave as is, and also how much you want to change. And so there's also the angle about, look, if you use transhumanism, is it making people into weapons? Are you basically just building products? And there's the whole comment about, look, if I can build you a better eye, would you rip out your current eye to get basically eye 2.0 or eye 3.0? So it's basically about how replaceable the human body is. And so that's basically the concept behind the actual graphic novel is. It centers around different characters and it moves around, but it's really a little bit hard science fiction in terms of what happens. But a lot of the problems you probably find as you read through the graphic novel can't be solved by new technology. So, and I don't know, I find that one of the things I really, really enjoy is advancements in science and technology, and trying to incorporate all of that into a graphic novel has been interesting. And of course, throw in some action, throw in a bit of fun as well. And yeah, that's basically the story behind Transhuman.
Cool. How many issues is the series going to be?
So it's up to the second issue. I do see it as an ongoing series. So if you read issue 1, it is a story that will finish totally. So if you read at the end of 1, it does close off the main threads. But why, and probably as an indie creator, why I always do that for issue 1 is I have no idea after issue 1 how successful something's going to be. To be really fair, sometimes you do hit bottled lightning and your series just resonates with a huge audience. So I tend to make issue 1 by itself. Now, if it resonates, then I can start planning longer arcs through. And so that's what I've been doing with Transhuman 2. I've started on 3 already. So 2 will end, but it does the story is there to continue. So in terms of, and if you want to scroll down, and since we're talking digital, so there's lots of rewards for basically on almost every tier. But one of the things that I say, if you get the digital pack, you don't get just, the first 2 issues. You actually get close to about 400 additional pages of graphic novel, of other series. You can kind of see here XCT Exilium. And these are other creators who have contributed to the pack. So when you get this, you've actually got a lot of reading you can do. And I want to reach, to be really fair, what I want to do is I want people to reach the same pace I am, which is you have more to read than you will ever have time. And that's where I want a lot of people to read. And so especially with digital packs, I do price it a little bit higher than a standard comic, but I want to make sure that what you get a lot. You will get multiple issues. Like I said, I think the current page count of digital is close to, I think 400. And by the end of the campaign, I'm getting more people contributing the digital comics. I want to give out close to 500-600 pages of comics just on one digital tier. So you back any of the digital tiers, and the digital tier is also on every physical tier. So if you buy a physical copy, you automatically get a digital tier. So the way I stack the rewards is it's all stacked rewards. So in most cases, if you get a higher reward, you get everything the previous reward gives you. So it makes it nice and easy. You go something higher, you get everything from before it. And look, to be fair, if you look at the reward tiers, and again from Australia, most of my backers are digital backers, and you're talking the percentages don't. You check the digital. I think I'm close to 50% digital backers. So whenever I give stretch goals, I always make sure that you have a mix of, you can either hit the digital number, like the number of backers, or the amount. So you can kind of see that's how the stretch goals usually pan out. But for me, look, if that's something of interest to anybody watching, I do hope you can check it out. You can always message me more information. There are, of course, the higher tiers, which is original artwork. But if you want to try it out, look, just come in on the digital level, or if you're the type who actually likes to hold a physical copy, I do keep my shipping very, very low, and I have my ways to do it. So I do distribute a little bit through some people in the US, so it helps keeps the shipping relatively low. Nice. But if it's something of interest, look, please do check it out. Like with all creators, these are stories we want to tell. This is not a huge money-making enterprise for most of us. It's just us being able to tell the story. And for me, I love stories about technology, advancements, human nature, and all the rest of it. So I basically hope you guys can check it out. Probably throw questions out to anybody in the group here. Any questions about the series? Or
very nice. So I mean, forgive me, but are you the writer artist, or are you just the writer?
I'm the writer letterer. So
Write a letter. Gotcha. Yeah, I know how that feels. So where'd you find your artist?
So the artist is from Mongolia. So I actually been working in him for quite a while. So he's a good guy. And the previous artist I had was from Brazil. So he's doing the prologue on this one. And the cover artists are from all over the place. There's one guy from the US, one guy from Europe. The one thing I have loved about the internet that has facilitated a lot of these things is people are seriously one message away. And instant messaging, you can talk, Facebook messaging, you can make phone calls, video calls. Oh, God. 10 years ago, this wouldn't have happened. I'll be honest. You couldn't do this 10 years ago.
Yeah, very true. Listen, man, it looks awesome. You've already funded, so you're well on your way. And just to let everybody know, the link is in the show notes. So you can just click on the link, and it'll take you directly to the site, and you can buy yourself a book. You got 9 more days. You're going to be all right, man.
Oh, thank you. And look, thank you for having me on. Really appreciate your time. And look, it was an awesome discussion. And look, I think more than anything else, all of us wants to see this particular medium succeed. And I know there's been a lot of discussion, like which is the best approach. Honestly, I would say let's do all of them and hope one of them sticks. Like it's one of those, like chalk it. Like, and the other thing would be, I would say, just jumping back to the original question, crowdfunding has allowed so much more to happen. It really has. It has allowed you to build your own audience. And I have really loved seeing Keanu Reeves come on, Wesley Snipes starting doing stuff. I have really loved to see that because it gives a bit of I'm going to get the word right, authenticity to the medium to say, hey, look, if Wesley Snipes can make a comic and crowdfund it, dude, anybody can. And it allows that this is real and this is, it's not just somebody, coming in and just chucking something out there and just hoping that these are actually real quality products and real quality things that are being crowdfunded and produced. And it gives people that, hey, look, if I buy this, it won't be somebody using a photocopier to make the comic for me. It will be a properly printed, colored. And that's the stigma. That's actually the stigma with crowdfunding, right? Quite a bit. It's
not so much that they're called digital printers now, but digital presses. But they're still photocopiers. Trust me.
I know. But look, thank you for having me on. I will wave you guys all goodbye. But I'll be watching. I'll be watching from the back from my laptop to wish everybody well.
All right. Thank you, Wes. It was awesome.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Mr. Lanning, Rodney.
Sir. Yep.
You guys are up. You want me to play this video?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay.
Nice.
Very nice.
Dude, the only thing missing from this video was the Starsky and Hutch slide over the car, man.
Hey, I was trying to figure out a way to do it. I was
jamming with that. I was like,
I was one of the guys from SWAT to go flying by in their van.
We're fucking old.
Nice.
Jesus.
You would not believe how long it took us to find music for that video. It was
Really?
But it was good.
arduous.
You found it. That was
Yeah, we found it. We found it. Shout out to Chad Perkins for that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Rodney, walk us through. Oh, Rodney, I got a question for you first. How is it working with like a very demanding artist?
Oh wow! Really?
Oh, it's very stressful. It's arduous.
Demanding, yeah. Somebody who wants a script. Yeah, I know that's horrible, right? Yeah, bastard. It's just.
No, I think C was surprised when he got my script of. Well, see, I'll let you say that.
Well, no.
See, you don't like to work
You
Marvel
don't just-
style? You don't like
No.
Marvel style? See, what the fuck, bro? Come on, man.
Look, you know what happens? People will tell you that they've liked Marvel style, and I've worked with somebody who was like that, and nobody on this panel. So let me put it that way, real quick. Everybody here that I've worked with, including Randy and Rodney, have been, and JD a little bit, has been pretty precise on what they want, which is good. Because what happens to me with people who want Marvel style is I end up having to basically write the whole freaking thing anyway. So you can take Marvel style, and that was great for them back there. It's not great for me now. So
Right. No, but to give you a quick rundown of a doghouse, it's a world that I created. It's called New Grau City, and it's just south of the Tuna Tunnel. And the story features our two main detectives, Scirocco and Rubs, who were called to the local bar, the Dog Pound, or the Doghouse, to investigate the death of its owner, Eddie. The two prime suspects are Sin and Eddie's longtime friend and bartender, and Fleabee, Eddie's side piece. So the story centers around the last 48 hours before Eddie's death and all the strange happenings and occurrences at the bar. So it's good, ornery, adult humor fun. Kind of think Howard the Duck with mutts. I've been heavily influenced. I've been ruined, I should say, by the Looney Tunes growing up as a kid. So it's got that double level of humor in it for the adults, which is the way that I've always. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Double level of humor. Calderon, can you scroll up for a second? Right? That's what you need. Did you time it to say it when he was pulling that part
Well,
up?
are you talking about the ghost cover?
Yeah,
That's our Halloween cover. That's our Halloween cover. Why? Why?
Halloween in February, right?
The Halloween cover's making me jealous. Goddamn it!
Well, wait till you read that page, and then shoot me a message. Because, well, Jay, I'll tell you what. I had that page written, that scene written, and we were editing it. We had gotten it back from the editor. We were checking it, and I came up with another line. So I was like, oh, and I'm working with my wife, and I'm like, baby, I got something. I got to add this. She's like, there's no room. I said, there's plenty of room. Just give me a shot. And I wrote it down, and I gave it to her. She looked at me. She's like, really? It's like, yes.
I got to say, though, that's bad storytelling, Rodney, on your part, because right there on that cover, I already know Fleabee wasn't the killer, because no way would a woman kill someone who's packing that type of equipment, bro. Come on.
But you don't know that. You assume, because somebody else might be packing just as much.
Oh, daddy. All right.
There's a lot of dogs in the pound, son.
All right.
So anyway, there's all of our fun stuff to offer. There's our mini prints there. That's C's 2 covers. There's my variant cover. Some girl we some lady we know drew us a really amazing variant cover there.
Aww.
as well as the naughty version. And then Ian Chase Nichols drew the cover there, the pink cover with the blue monotone.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the 2 naughty covers by C and by Daphne Lays.
Yes.
And then we also have, of course, all of our other stuff from Hasm that are available, all of our horror stuff and our kid-friendly stuff. And then these are fun. These are the menus that you can get as the PDFs, and the we have a live band every night, so you get that. And then our stretch goals, we have our cocktail sword, which plays a key role in the story, and this absolutely fabulous sticker that C's daughter Jaden drew of Ferdinand the Frog. Absolutely stunning. And then at $2,000, we've got the holofoil sketch card, artwork by C, colors by me. And then we've got our coaster at $2,500 because you need a coaster to, for your drink while you're reading Doghouse, as well as the drink stirrer.
Yes.
Everything's in theme.
Everything's in theme.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
We were going to do a book of matches, but we knew we couldn't ship matches, so we said no.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So I mean, so what?
Well, like Indie Comics Network points out, she wanted to point out that this is not a nudie book, although we're offering naughty variant covers.
Yes.
So
yes. There are no. When we say adult themed, if there's no nudity in it, there are no cuss words in it. It's just ornery, sexual innuendo. That first page that you saw up the very top is the only quote unquote sex scene.
Risque.
The risque, and that's as bad as it gets. So the rest of it is just, sex jokes, stuff like that. So
Nice.
Humor
Wink,
for
wink,
us.
nudge, nudge.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So I'm reading Porky's with dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with that. Okay.
Yeah, and we all love.
I don't know if I
Porky's.
do. As for
It's Barkies. It's not Porky's.
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 Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes. Unfortunately, there's not a. That was a different movie. I was thinking the hot dog scene in Bachelor Party.
Wow.
Jay knows what I'm talking about. See, Jay, we are old.
Yeah.
I burnt out the tape on that cassette, bro. I played that movie so many times. Oh, it's a great flick. It's the fucking donkey show.
I mean, but so if you like movies like that, Animal House, Porky's, stuff like that, you're gonna love Doghouse. It's just
Meatballs. I think
meatball.
The
Yeah, it's just it's
Meatballs.
good, clean fun. For adults.
yeah.
We don't know if it's clean, but
They are.
Well, like he said, like Jay said, that kind of Starsky and Hutch, and I always kind of talked about it like being like the like a Miami Vice type feel to it, with the.
Oh yeah, and my variant cover is a straight ripoff of it was actually a photo of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence from Miami Bad Boys. So
homage, right?
Yeah, it's a homage. Yes, we will say a homage. Yes. And then Daphne and Ian knocked it out of the park with their variant covers as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So this is a one shot?
No. It is a self-contained story. There will be additional issues.
Oh, there. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. You were under the impression that it was a single issue, and we were at a certain point, but it keeps growing. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's going to keep
Very
going.
Nice. Fun.
Yes, a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, you got 26 more days. You've already met your goal.
Yes.
So you're good. So I mean, hopefully, we can get some more ducats in there for you, and you can get to some of those stretch goals because some of them look funny.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
The menu and the band list are hilarious. You guys will really enjoy those. Get a kick out of them. And yeah, you can get commissions from CNI. There's sketch covers in there. You can buy sketch covers. There's all kind of cool stuff in there. So thanks for the opportunity to come on and talk about it. And everybody go check it out. If it's not something you're into, hey man, that's cool. Just share it out to everybody that you think might be interested in it. And if you do that for us, we bless you and we thank you.
Nice. Okay. Peter, you didn't send me a link.
Yeah, I
had the
sent you a
thing
link.
just for the
for-
rewards thing, right?
No, not. Oh, you mean for the voting
Right.
for the comic of the year? No, I did send one here. Should be
Yeah.
Kickstarter
Oh,
projects
It's
when X
before
Files meets
the voting.
Hellblazers.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, it's my first attempt at doing a Kickstarter, so I
really?
like what I've seen from other people, and I'm gonna steal your ideas here eventually, or the way you format it.
Yeah, just give me a
That's how
moment.
you learn.
Yeah.
That's what I haven't run a Kickstarter yet, and I'm stealing from everybody here.
Yep.
Be sure that's.
But I mean, like, I don't have the graphic ability to make the fancy little boxes and stuff like that. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, right?
You
So
don't need to, brother. You don't.
why does a Kickstarter provide those?
No. You could use clips from your own book and just tag in on that.
Yeah. All right. You got a video. You want me to share it? I mean, show it.
Sure. Yeah. It's pretty crude, but
Okay.
That was fast.
That was short.
I mean, I love it.
Hey, you're on your way. You're on your way.
Yeah.
yeah, we did well. We were funded in 48 hours, so I was quite happy about that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we've kind of stalled a little for the last, but I've been promoting the voting more lately than I have the Kickstarter. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Deliver us from evil.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little backstory. I wrote a comic a few years ago called Starbolt, and I included a character in the last couple of pages, Constantine Lazar, and that character was kind of like with how in Swamp Thing, John Constantine first appeared in Swamp Thing, and it was a character that I don't know if Alan Moore had ever thought the character would ever be more than just in the comic as a cameo. Well, the same thing happened with this character. He appeared in Starbolt first a few years ago, and then I did a project with Ben Dunn at Antarctic Press, Indie Wars, and he appeared in that, and then he appeared in These Damn Kids too. So I've had a lot of people ask me if like they like the character if I would do a standalone series. So I have, and this is a 4-issue series that it's all print ready. Like I have there's a comic right there. I brought it to. I was a featured guest at a convention in Fredericton here back in November, and I brought a bunch of copies with me, and I sold them all out. So Mattia and I, the artist, decided that we said we'll just try a Kickstarter campaign, and just to see how it went. And we were kind of little thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be day 29, and we've raised $100, and nobody loves us type thing, right? But like I said, 48 hours we were fully funded, so we're quite happy about that.
Yeah.
Just not sure how to get things to keep moving. Like now that we are funded, we seem to have slowed. The campaign itself has seemed to have stalled. We've got probably 3 or 4 backers in the last week. Whereas we, like I said, the first 48 we got like 27 or 28 backers. Now this Jungle Comics thing, this is Alessio Nocerino. He does he does the covers for Jungle Comics. Plus I've worked with him before at Antarctic Press, and he's going to do exclusive sketches for one of our stretch goals.
Cool.
Very cool.
Very
And
nice.
that's it. That's one of that's the cover for issue 2. Issue 2 is completely penciled. It's like, it just needs to be lettered, and then it'll be print ready. Like I said, issue 1 is already print ready. I got a copy of it right here. So, like we're just we're just waiting for the campaign
Yeah,
to be over, and we'll send them out. Then that's a that other one there was that's a variant cover.
Hold up the comic.
Oh,
Peter. There you go. Very nice.
Very
and
nice.
there's the variant.
Nice.
All right.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
So the comics are ready to go. You know, we just need to know how many we're going to be printing, and then we'll just send them out from there. Mattia is going to be doing the sketches. He'll be doing individualized sketches, because one of the goals is a 8x10 sketch, and he'll be doing those, and he'll be sending them out, and I'll be sending out the comics.
Cool.
But this is it's a standalone, or it's a 4-issue series, I should say. It's a solo series for this character, and it's like, like I said, it's like if Hellblazer and X-Files kind of met. It's got a lot of, like, if you flip up there a little to that double page spread. No, not there. No, maybe I didn't include it in the.
One?
Right there.
That right there is
all the
insane.
different.
But the artwork is beautiful.
Yeah,
I know, that is insane, right?
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
looks
We were
great.
going to go with color, and then we've had a couple people tell us, no, you should just leave it black and white. So we're going to leave it black and white.
Yeah,
black and
very
white.
wise. You don't
Yeah.
you don't get that very often, where you have this raw look that looks awesome in black and white. That you definitely have it here.
Yeah, Mattia is fantastic. He's a fabulous artist,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so this is a secret place that they go to, and you see that all the different chambers that they go through till they hit down here. It just gives you kind of a synopsis of what, like what's going to be going on. Like it's just a lot of real tinfoil hatty stuff, and
I love the cats playing poker. That's what
Yeah.
caught my attention right away. I was like, right, you're freaking right.
yeah, and then
That's
there's
awesome.
all the brains in a jar, Nixon and Kennedy and a bunch of other people, Einstein, and there's robots building robots, and then there's Sasquatches, and there's all kinds of and then you got the
Nice.
cafeteria there with all the different aliens, and it's my wacky imagination and
Is there
wacky sense of
is there a
visual
divot in
montage.
is
I
there a
love it.
divot in Kennedy's brain?
no.
Oh, too
No, but
soon.
there should be. There should be.
Wah, wah, wah.
You know what I mean?
Wah, wah, wah.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
that's a
that's Kennedy.
Stefano Carselli cover. Stefano's
Yeah, that's a
he's
great
a
cover.
Bram Stoker award-winning artist I work with a lot of Italian artists, and he did that cover, and
That's amazing.
Mattia did the variant, and then like I said, the other one underneath it is that's the cover for issue 2, but that's also available as an 8x10
Print.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's,
as an
that's cool.
8x10
Wow.
print. Like they're going to be cardstock prints. It's going to be thicker than, it's not something that's going to bend, right?
Right.
That would make a cool trading card.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It looks awesome. I mean, all right. So how much time? All right, you've already funded. You got
We got
another
about
18 days to go.
18 days. But like I said, we stalled in the last couple of days. We've, like I said, the first 48 hours, we had almost $1,200. We've made about 150 since.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, you've hit that middle
Right.
lull.
Yeah, and I haven't really been pushing it that much, because, like I said, these damn kids got nominated for Best Indie Comic of the Year by Sequential Magazine here in Canada, so which is a pretty big deal here in Canada. So I've been really pushing that, because the voting ends on like March 1st, like midnight, February 28th. So I've been really pushing everybody to vote for that. That way, it'd be cool if I won or if the comic book won, right? You never know. It's just it's a nice nod to get even nominated.
True. Hold on. I'll pull it up real quick. I don't know if there's. I didn't. This is it. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, Sequential. I put one in there right underneath it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to vote Peter, this is where you go. So I mean, what do you have in here? That
These Damn Kids won, issue 1. That
Gotcha.
it's voted
These
as the
Damn
best
Kids.
Canadian independent comic book
Oh, okay.
of the year
I
for
see it now.
this right here for 2022. So
nice.
I
Okay.
thought you kept saying these damn kids, like as in like these
No,
these
that's-
rascals. I
that's
can't
the
believe
name
they're
of the
getting
comic.
voted. Okay,
No.
okay, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because that's what I was thinking too. I was like, what damn kids are you talking
I was
about?
like, yeah, what
And this
damn
one
kids?
is actually pretty good looking right here.
These
Talking
damn
about the
kids.
artist? What? I don't know.
Butterfly
Get off my
House.
lawn.
Yeah. But it looks like you got some stiff competition. But hey man, I mean, it looks awesome. But yeah, but definitely go in there, vote for Peter. Yeah, man, looks cool. Good luck with that. I mean, I'll definitely vote for you.
Yeah.
Are you only allowed one voter, or can you vote for multiples?
I can only vote once. Like you can only vote in each category one time.
Gotcha.
When you go to sign in for it, they ask for your Gmail address, right? That way. I guess the reason why is they don't want me going on and voting for myself like 50,000 times, right?
Yeah.
Well, that
so
makes
that I
sense.
can,
That's it. I had never heard of Sequential Magazine. How long has it been coming out?
Oh, probably about 6 or 7 years. It's a Canadian independent comic book magazine.
That's incredible. That's great.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So
Chrome
Justin,
Dog.
we got Chrome Dog. You want me to play this video?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Epsilon City needs heroes, but will Scratch, the Chrome Dog, have what it takes to answer the call? Back, Chrome Dog, starting February 3rd on Indiegogo.
Oh, nice.
Patrick Gamma
Yeah,
doing the
he's so
colors.
good.
Yeah, so good.
For sure.
Unique. And the colors he does on Chrome Dog looks so different from the colors he's working on the Fool book right now.
That's nice.
So it's
Yeah.
just
It's
incredible.
really-
Oh yeah, that's a sweet piece.
So this is Lepresti. This is Aaron Lepresti. I reached out to him and asked him to do a variant cover for me, and he said yes. So
Very
cool.
Final
That's really
colors
cool.
for it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Now,
Sorry,
if,
you
Yeah,
said how
that's,
much?
What's that?
Did you say it was $900 worth? I didn't hear you. You broke up.
I didn't say how much it was. I said he
Oh!
said yes. Is that one of those JD Jay Rosario moments where you just like trying to get information out of me?
No, hell no, not at all, not at all.
Okay.
I said best not. I thought you said the best $900 worth. I was like, oh shit, okay.
No. No, I said no. That's the variant cover for the comic. This is a fight between Chrome Dog and Seether, which is one of the villainous henchmen that he encounters in Chrome Dog #1. So, but yeah, Aaron Lepresti, he's a class act for sure.
Very cool.
yeah, very nice.
So Chrome Dog is a book about it's what's funny. It's almost like you designed it this way, JD, because you got the transhumanism coming in, right? And then we got
Right.
the doghouse coming in, and it kind of mixes a little bit. And what's funny is Peter. I'm actually going to be in some later issues. I'm going to be dealing with some supernatural stuff at that point as well. So it's kind of all of this thematically works to help me kind of pitch this book, because Chrome Dog takes a little bit here and a little bit of there. And so what he is he's basically the consciousness of a human has somehow found its way downloaded into this body of a shell, right? And he doesn't remember who he is or who he was. He doesn't know anything. The place where he's at is completely foreign to him. And it's also, by the way, it's not Earth. This is a planet called Ringgold. It has 2 moons, Lux and Proximo are their names. And but yeah, and so this first issue is kind of it sets everything up for what's to follow. Chrome Dog, he's a hero, and he's also a working man. He has a drive that always, where he's always wanting to be working. He does odd jobs not only for the private sector, but he also does work for criminal organizations who like his particular hacking skills. He'll occasionally do a heist here and there. He'll help plan them, but he has certain lines that he won't cross. And when he sees a couple of couple of people that he's encountered before commit a kidnapping, well, he kind of decides to take matters into his own hands, and that's pretty much what those first 10 pages in this PDF ashcan that I'm giving away sets up in this comic book. So,
Cool.
but yeah, it's it's basically, I've got it listed as Luke Cage meets Altered Carbon with a hint of Ninja Turtles and Blade Runner. So it's I hesitate to use the term all ages because there are themes that are a little more a little like it's a little more heady than what a 6-year-old is going to understand, but there's a parent's not going to have any problem handing this to their child. It's just some of it may go over their head is all. And while there may be some sexy heroines coming later in the comic book, I plan to keep Cheesecake a very minimum because that's not my style.
Now, how many pages is the first issue?
Okay, so it's 32 pages, and I have it blocked out for 3 issues, and each one's going to be 32 pages. That's kind of how I've got it plotted right now.
Nice.
For issues 2 and 3. I do have the full script. By the way, this 10-page preview ashcan, this is actually the first 10 pages of the 32-page comic book. So I'm front loading folks with the story so that they can see kind of where I'm going with it, and then leave them with a nice cliffhanger at the end, so they're going to want to read pages 11 through 32. So
nice. Cool.
Nice colors. Who does the coloring?
Yeah, that's Patrick Gamma. He's Luke Stone's colorist for Hybrids, and I believe he's also, Randy said early on here, he's doing the colors for The Fool.
Yeah, I have him coloring The Fool right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's in that. And by the way, The Fool is available in the Arrow, the featured tier, as we see here on the right. The Arrow Comics bundle number 2. The Fool is part of that. Which, by the way, because there's a lot of spinning plates, I've put the fulfillment deadline to be October of this year, just in case we get hitches in all the different comic creators that we're working with here in their different books, because we've got The Fool, we've got was it Herobot Zero, there's also the first we've got Soul Tack that's going to be broken down into a single issue. We've got the
second issue of Revolt.
2.
Yeah. Yep.
So
and I believe the only book that's still in away from a print file, or the books away from a print file right now, is Chrome Dog and Fool. Fool's just being colored
Soul Pack,
and relettered.
Is that Craig White?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, he lives about an hour away from me.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, he's signed up with us at Arrow, and he's breaking his graphic novel down into floppy size.
He contacted us and said he was having a little trouble. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. Go ahead, Peter.
No, I said I met him at a convention earlier in the year. he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
He gave me a free copy of Soul Tack. I think it's like a handbook.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah, he contacted me and said he was having a little problem with being seen here in the States. So offered him the Arrow label and offered to help him out with his promotion and that. Luke's doing a lot of the production work and the fulfillment work here in the States for his Soul Tack campaign. And then we're breaking the product up into 3 32-page books and releasing them as part of our bundles here.
Mm-hmm. So Luke did the artwork on this?
Yes. This is Luke Stone's artwork and letters.
Nice. Tell Luke, good job.
Okay.
I don't see Luke enough. That's why.
And it's a very different look from his hybrids book too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing there's a lot more detail, and Patrick's even coloring it different from hybrids on purpose, so that it's got its own unique look and feel to it. And there's an intentional reason the palette is the way that it is, right, Justin?
Yes, because it's on a completely different planet. The atmosphere is different. The sun is not yellow. It's more of like a pale blue to white color. So it lends to a different color palette, according to what I'm being told. But for me, the thing about it is, not only do you have those elements, but you've also got his Terminator vision, if you will. So when we see through Chrome Dog's eyes, we see this yellow matrixy looking, kind of view of the world from panel to panel. Mm-hmm. And so he absolutely captured that. That's exactly what I had imagined when I was writing the script. But a note about the art production. I basically, I had certain beats that I wanted to hit, but when it came to the fight scene and probably going forward, really, the fight scenes, I kind of hand it to Luke, and I'm like, hey, these are the beats that I want to hit it during the fight scene, but here, see what you can do in these pages. And so he just took it and ran with it, and actually came back to me and said, hey, I know you wanted to do this in 8 pages, but can I extend it out to 10? And I said, is that going to cost me any more? And he says, no. And I said, sure. So
bonus.
So there you go.
Bonus.
But the other thing that I'm really trying to do with Chrome Dog is comics are supposed to be fun, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're going super meta on a lot of this stuff. So if you want to, like JD, if you want to scroll down to when he's actually fighting, he's throwing down with this bad guy who has yet to be revealed the name of before now. His name is actually Phenom, and he wears this rubber skin suit kind of thing to kind of disguise himself. And so what we see here is we see the face of Chrome Dog's mascot kind of being expressive, right? And not only that, like it spins around in that moment, in that panel, when he socks him a good one, and we see the expression on his face. And never mind that, it's all just meta. I mean, if we were to be hyper realistic, it's obvious that there'd be no expressions whatsoever on this face. But yeah, I mean, that's just something that Luke and I kind of, we vibed off of for sure. But yeah, so.
No, that's really cool, man. I mean, you guys are already funded. You got another 7 days.
Yep.
Are you gonna extend it another 30, or are you just gonna put it on in demand?
So I'm glad you asked. So what I've decided to do is there is a black and white variant that's still currently on the campaign. It's the black and white line art variant. Or black and white line art edition. It won't feature. It's not that one. It's the one below it. So that one. It will not. It's not going to feature any lettering in it whatsoever. I've decided that when this initial 30 days is over, I'm actually going to pull this one from the campaign. The only way you're going to get it is if you get the all-nighter bundle. When I do decide to extend the campaign for another additional, possibly 2 weeks, if not, another 30 days, But also to highlight at the end of that 30 days, like once I'm done with the campaign, as a campaign before it goes in demand, I'm also going to take the Lopresti cover down. So when this thing goes in demand, people are not going to be able to get the Lopresti cover. So they need to back it now. They need to back it early, back it often. So help us help us fund this thing beyond, well beyond, so that we can push that funding towards some other issues.
Gotcha. Now, one of the things I see interesting in the tier is I saw below also is the Arrow Bundle 2. Now, what is that?
So Arrow Bundle 2 is, well, actually, Randy, you want to talk about it?
Yeah,
this was your
Arrow Bundle 1 was 8 #1 issues that we were offering with the Rift Riders campaign and with I believe one of the hybrids trade paperback campaigns had it. But we're offering that also with the Chrome Dog campaign. But we're also offering another bundle, a second bundle of more books. Chrome Dog 1 is part of that. Fool 1 is part of that. Soul Tack is part of that. But also Hybrids 2, Revolt 2, and HeroBot 02 are also part of that. And what we're going to do as Arrow Comics, whenever an Arrow comic is offered or campaigned, we're going to have a series of bundles that'll be add-ons that'll be available to anybody that wants to, pick up a group of Arrow comics at a decent price and, have a little bit more entertaining and readership to do. We also offer all of those books as they become available on an individual basis over at arrowcomics.store. And there's a lot more coming. We've had a lot of people approach us lately that want to be part of Arrow Comics. And it's kind of, the situation that we were in.
Yeah.
And it's left us with I think an opportunity to grow as a group and to gain a group of independent creators just to get together and be a company and help self-promote our stuff as much as possible, not just amongst ourselves, but out to reach out into different communities. As Arrow grows, our reach is going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see a lot more campaigns this year that will be Arrow Comics. In fact, we're starting an Arrow Comics more mature line. I won't say adult line because that automatically gives you a hardcore porn thought, but right. A more mature line called Arrow Comics with an X 3G. That'll be the let's say the harder PG-13 and a little R-rated books. And we've already got a couple of titles that are in production that'll carry that brand. It'll have a 2-color brand up in the corner for Arrow Comics, and it'll have a little label underneath that says "Not for Wussies."
Nice. All right.
Just to make the distinction away from books that everybody can read and books that maybe the youngsters shouldn't read.
Randy, I didn't want to cut you off, but
you're all right.
Happy anniversary on our escape from the situation that we were in, right?
I hear you, buddy. Yep, I know.
Hey, on that front, let me say this. So we were talking about spinner racks, right? And you guys know, from way back when you first had me on this show that I was experimenting, and I have 4 of them out there. And I'm pleased to tell you that I stopped in at the head shop that I went to. It's now called Stoner's Market. It's turned into very much like a bodega in a way, right? As well as selling weed. But they actually their spinner rack is almost empty, so they want to restock. So I'm gonna see if I can throw some more stuff in there. And
right.
So and that's that's very pleasing there. And then the other success story is we have a local grocery store where I have a spinner rack. And so I'm looking to convert all of those over from Alterna to Arrow Comics just as soon as I can. Once those, once this current crop, sells down over there. So, big things are happening in this, in this realm and with Arrow this year for sure.
Very good.
That's
good deal.
Cool.
Glad to hear.
Plus, we've got. I'm sorry, JD. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We've got the store up and running. We're looking for any alternative distribution outlets that we can get to. Justin's just a small part of that. We're going to be going around and talking to a lot of different places and trying as a group to get our product out underneath as many eyes as possible, not just inside the comic market, but as far outside the comic market as we can.
Very cool.
Cool. We got one last thing. Now, why I'm putting this up is because it's not all about this guy. It's about his artist. So that's the only reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it for his artist. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So 2 weeks, Saturday night, we're going to be launching Limbo, Open Almost All Eternity. It's a story about Lucifer vacating his throne in the underworld and placing a former priest in charge. And this man, with his guide, who's there trying to protect his neck, try to keep things together in the underworld, which he is woefully unprepared to do. Now, the thing is, this is the first book that I am publishing that is not something that I wrote. Much like Randy bringing in, talent from outside looking for U.S. representation. So this team's come from Colombia, and they've got some distribution in Spain, but they are looking to get a foothold out here in the American market. So this is fantasy. It is going to be a 24-page full color book, one of 3, and they're all ready. We just need to come up with the money for the printing. Mm-hmm. They are providing new covers for this book, and I can't wait to put this out there. These guys are energetic, and the biggest hook is out of Colombia. Their English translation on the spot is not all that keen. So mm-hmm. They're looking for another plucky sidekick to help them lead the way. That's where I come in. And if anybody had joined us for the last book that I released, Vicky Sticks, on Kickstarter, we did a live stream launch, and there were quite a few prizes given out to the backers. So I don't know if people understand the way the Kickstarter scheme works, but every backer is associated a number as to what point they backed your campaign. So we put that in a random number generator, and we give away some premium cover stuff. We give away some shirts. We gave away some pins. I know the pins that I given away were all the pins that Calderon was waiting for. So he's got to, he's got to wait for the next order to come in.
You know what, Jay? There we go.
Oh no!
He's in limbo.
Son of a bitch! Banished to the bottom.
Banished to the bottom. You no longer deserve to be near me.
You have been exiled.
It looks like the plucky sidekick got plucked.
No, I got plucked. Exactly. I get plucked all the time. So if anybody wants us to hang out for the live stream launch, at least check it out. I do a shot for every $100 that hits the Kickstarter. And last time on a 2-hour stream, I was roasted. I was just done. So,
and I gotta say, I love this illustration. It looks like fun.
Yeah, this is done by Francisco Maldonado, and he is actually from Spain. So that's why they have distro in Spain, because he gets the printing done out there for his stuff.
Sure.
But I love it. It's not stuff that I do, and it's a great thing to add to our catalog. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where, what is it? The rising tide lifts all ships,
Yes.
And,
yep.
So,
same thought. Yeah.
They will be able to, just like you, Justin, with being able to incorporate other Arrow books into your campaign, right? They also have the benefit of, the sales boost of other Unstoppable Comics books being able to boost the numbers. And, I got a pretty good catalog there. So hopefully everybody gets to make a little money from this magic.
Yep.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right, cool. Well, we got a few minutes left. So, Jay, you said you had a question, so please ask it.
Yes, you see, dude. Not only did I have a question, I was also writing notes for tonight. But
Oh, boy.
what you call it? Yeah. So
What's
my
your
question.
favorite piece?
This is a very speculatory question, but it came out of a little bit from what C had asked. And do you guys think that there's going to be a financial cap to the single issue price? And who will hit it first? Independent creators or major publishers? You know, do you think that there's going to come to a point where somebody says, "Oh my God, that's too much for a 24 or a 32 page comic," right? And as a whole, in the macro, right, they're just going to refuse to. Okay, this is it, right?
Mhm.
And this is going back to remember DC back in the early 2000s was like $2.99. The buck stops here, and now they're doing $7 books, and and it wasn't even a decade ago.
Yep.
So it's it's like a race, right? Are indie books doing 15 bucks a book? Is major publishers, are they going to be hitting 15 bucks per book? Is 25 going to be the new cap? Is that going to be where it stops? So what do you guys think about that?
All right. Before I ask someone to answer that question, I have to give you a little bit of credit. Tiny bit of credit. That was actually one of my questions for today.
Get the fuck out of here!
It actually was. It actually was. Yeah. Good job. So I have to say, good job. Good job.
You
Good
steal
job.
my full name, I steal your question. Hey,
That's fine. I can live with that. All right. Let's let Rodney. Why don't you start?
Well, I'm going to say that I'm going to hop in the Wayback Machine back to $4 comics.
Yeah.
And I remember being furious and saying, fuck it, that's it, I'm out. And I stopped buying comics at $4 because I thought that was ridiculous. I just wasn't going to do it. I started buying trades, and that was it. And then after about 7 or 8 months, I was like jonesing for my fix of my normal stuff. And I started buying it again because we're screwed because we're hooked.
Yeah.
And all consumers of this market that we're in, whether they buy Marvel, DC, Image, or us, it's a Jones that they gotta fix every month. So they don't, some people will go out and spend $15 for a large popcorn and a soda at the movies. Other people will go to their local comic book shop every month, every week, and drop $50.
Mhm.
It's just what the individual chooses to do. And I don't buy a lot of floppies anymore, basically because I'm too busy to read. But I went to buying trades. But if there's something that I want to have, that I need, that it's an artist that I love and I've got to have it, I'll buy it. I don't give a fuck how much it costs.
Okay.
But yeah, we're screwed because we're hooked, and they know that.
So. Nice. Peter, what are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with Rodney. Like if I like something, I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Canada, it's even more expensive because we pay American cover for a Canadian comic. So they add 35% right on the top. So if it's a $5 title, it's usually about $8 Canadian by the time you're done.
Mm.
By the time you buy it, but
stings.
if it's writers that you tell a good story, and it's great artwork, I'll pay the money for it. I don't care how much it is, right? And then I'm a kind of a sucker, and I'll go out and buy the trade afterwards, and then I'll buy the omnibus of all the trades, right? So like
you're hooked as much as anybody else is.
Yeah, I've got comics here that I've got the individual single issues. Then I've got I look over here and I've got all of them in trade, and then if big omnibus comes out, and then I'll buy the omnibus too.
You're a junkie, Peter. You're a junkie.
They got you 3 times.
Yeah, people like Jonathan Hickman, they must love me because I spend an awful lot of money on his stuff, and Tom Taylor and people like that, eh?
Nice. That's cool. Mr. C, what do you think?
I think that's what I say. Like, if you want it, you're going to pay for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to have to be, if they're going to go higher on prices. We've seen $8 and what have you. But for like a 24-page comic, it's going to have to really bring it because it's going to wipe out. It's going to be it's going to wipe out other comics, right? You're going to be able to only buy one or two of them, so you better bring your A game for that. But it's also a possibility that they might stop doing floppies and just go to trades. I've seen there was an Image book called Motor Crush that they were doing floppies, and after their second volume, they're like, this is not profiting us whatsoever. They stopped. And it was it was the team that was doing Batgirl for DC for a while, and they stopped, and they're like, no, we're just going to start doing it and go straight to trades. So we're waiting for the trade to come out. We'll see what happens there.
Well, the thing that the comic book companies are doing now is, I mean, back in the day, John Byrne did Fantastic Four for 5 years. He did the X-Men for 4 years. Ringo did Fantastic Four for 3 or 4 years. Guys had runs on books, and it was a given, and you knew who you're buying every month because you love the artist and you love the writer. Now they sign a guy to do 6 issues or 12 issues, and they lump it on a trade intentionally.
Right,
so it's set up for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why they've had that long of a run was because of the pay structure, right? So what was it? After 3 issues, the pay went up, right? That's why John Byrne's Captain America run was so short, because I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was backdoor politics or whatever the case, but they were not meeting the deadline on time, and the editor threw a fill-in issue, before the Baron Blood segment that he did, and that cost him some dough, and that's why he was like, I'm out of here on that. Right. So the longer you stayed on the book, the more money you made. They don't have that.
Makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Justin, what are you thinking?
So I'm probably the worst person to ask about this, to be honest, because I've stopped buying any new anything that Disney, Marvel or Warner, freaking Warner Brothers, HBO Max, DC bullcrap. I don't buy it. I'm not interested in any of it. Right? I'm too busy making my own stuff and trying to come up with my own stories that I find more compelling than the drivel that they're making now. And as Randy said earlier, these comics are, with all these like umpteen variant covers for these supposed new key issues that people just got to line up to get, right? They make 15 variants. They put all this pressure on these comic stores to buy the different variants, to get the people to come in to buy the issues and blah 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 blah. But to answer the question, I think there is a dollar cap, and I think we're at it. I think the market, they're tired of being given substandard stories. They're tired of being sold a bill of goods saying, hey, here's a cover of this really awesome superhero team that you loved when you were a kid, but we're just going to have them sitting in a coffee shop for the entire comic book, swapping stories about who their lesbian love interest is, or whatever the heck it is, right? I mean, it's and so what do these speculators do? They think, oh, it's the next big thing, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to slab that sucker and then store it away, and it's going to be worth something someday. But if no one wants the comic today, who's going to be buying those back issues tomorrow? It's like, what market are we even talking about at this point? Because if the readers aren't there, where's the value? And so I say, $6.99 a comic, that's your ceiling, man. And I'm saying $6.99 for a standard issue comic, but we're not even talking about these are all just little runs too. That we don't. Gone are the days of having a comic run from what was it? Detective Comics made it to how high before they reset that sucker? Was it like it was over 1,000, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not up to it, but it was over 1,000. So you got Batman going from issue 1 all the way to 1,000 in its entire history, and then they decide to reset it. And now, who can keep up with what? And so I don't know. I'm just Like I said, I'm the worst.
They're trying to game us. They're trying to game us, Justin, because you look at Spider-Man, right? And it's reset every so often, but they still have legacy numbering, right? Because they want to hit that 1,000 issue goal.
Well, then that's.
Well,
I'm sorry, that's not a game that I'm wanting to play. So
they used to be trying to spin all their plates at once. They had to appeal to the collector. They had to appeal to the reader. They had to appeal to the legacy reader. But anymore, it's gotten to the point where they really don't care and they're doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, I've said this in the past. This crowdfunding's the wild, wild west of this art form. We are the creative ones. We are the alternate independents out there, and we need to get to a point where we're out there and playing. We need to do, and I'm seeing this, with the who's Mouse Guard publisher, Arcade. We need to start playing with format. We need to start playing with size. We need to get away from the floppy, the floppy, which is a terrible term. We need to get away from that term anyway. That's my opinion. But the pamphlet, we need to get away from that term. We need to do, if we're going to do art, let's do art, but let's do expressive art in whatever format that we want to do. I was looking at it over there's a lot of albums over in Europe and in other countries where they're actually doing half a page, what we would consider now a half a page of art. You do a half a page of a 32 page, you do 32 pages in half pages and you reproduce it in a half a comic size. Suddenly you've got a 64 page book. What do you charge for that? Right. Do you charge the same as a 32 page book, or is it it'll be a bigger book? You can even square bind it. Then it's a book. It's not floppy at all, we should be out there playing. I was looking at Big Little books. So you can't get them printed here anymore cheaply at all in the States, and the newsprint books and different papers. We're going to have problems with paper the next year, at least until things settle down. We're going to have problems with print on demand. Guys are going to constantly be moving their prices up because their cost of doing business is going up. So I think it's up to us to go out there and to start making a difference and we got to make great books to start with, but we have to start playing around in different formats and different sizes. We really don't have to be the same size as all the other comics have been for the last 50 freaking years. We don't have to fit in that bag. We don't have to be backed by that board. We really don't even have to be slabbed. We can put a thick, we can put a thick, if you do enough books, you can put a thick enough square binding on it and put it on a shelf. You don't need a bag, or a thick enough cover on it that's indestructible. The Scholastic model, again, that we talked about earlier, a great model, durable for kids. Parents pick it up. They think it's a great book, so it's worth the cost. It's up to us. As creatives in the alternate independent market, now's the time to play and be creative, be independent, make great comics in every format that you possibly can. And we're at that age with such creativity, and yet we're also at a point now where we're all producing the same size, the same format, the same page count, all and in a lot of ways, in many ways, the same looking book. And we need to go out there as independents and stretch this art form out and do all sorts of different things. We don't have to follow, like our theme for today. We don't have to follow trends. We can make them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but all these great books that used to come out in the 70s and 80s, ElfQuest, Cerebus, Fish Police, Realm, all broke out into Dead World, all broke out into different genres. And some of them don't survive. Most of them might not survive, but we're stretching this art form out and doing different things. Look at manga, the variety of mangas that are out there. And even they have a format problem, I think. They're stuck in the same size book with the same look. And, and don't get me started on the right to left, left to right stuff,
Well, that's just a cultural thing. But
well,
it is. It's a way to be culturally read, but it's also in my opinion. It's a great way to disrespect readers.
Well,
You know?
it's just the publishers being cheap. I mean, they don't have to pay to have the artwork flipped. They don't have to
Well,
pay
it
for the
doesn't.
artwork
No,
to be touched.
and there's definitely a problem there because it won't look right flipped,
Right.
especially to the eye of the artist or the studio that's working on it. And there has to be should be solutions for that. But at least they've had studies come out that I've read lately, because I thought that reading right to left would add to like a dyslexia problem, and it's actually the opposite, because it's actually helping dyslexics to read and enjoy comics, reading them in a manga format. So it should be all sorts of different formats, and there's a lot of great manga coming out now that's left to right.
Right. What's the manhwa?
Yeah, like Apple Black.
Manhwa.
Like Apple Black. Manga. Yeah.
Manhwa's from Korea. They read in the same directions we read.
Yeah. So it's up to us though, because we're doing crowdfunding campaigns. We don't have to stick to those formats. We can play. And I've already talked to like Comic Wellspring about what they can do and how they can do it. And they're wide open. It might cost a little more to start with until they can get their equipment to format down into whatever we want to work in. But it's really time to start playing with this art form, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Well, my question is this though, but aren't you kind of pigeonholed? Because if Justin's putting spinner racks in bodegas and that's your market there, if you start playing with the format, aren't you going to kind of cut yourself short there?
Displaying them is another, it's another hassle. There are point of purchase displays that you can get made for your product if you have to, or you can do different stand-up shelving or spinner racks, or you can find ways of fitting into the spinner if you have to. If you do a half a size comic, you can. I was playing around with this for years ago. You could stack two comics on top of one another and put it in a bag, a standard comic bag with a board on it, and it's not going to hurt it as long as you've got a stiff enough book. As long as it's not going to crunch it once it's one stacked on top of the other. But there's some great ways to play out there that we're just not doing. You look back in the 70s and 80s or black and white magazines, you had all sorts of different formats were being played with. I've got books that are, look at the Chick publications even that I showed last show we were here. They're the digest size books. Archie has made their company off of doing a different format that doesn't fit into that bag and that board, And everybody's tried digests at one point or another. I mean, the big companies have. Some of them don't make it, but Archie's figured out how to make it work for them.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, right? And once you put it in that format, then you can also do the web. You can do a webtoon version of it, and so what you're saying, Randy, is to not go one way, but to go all ways.
Every
right?
way.
Is that what we're saying?
Every way.
Yeah,
There used to be mini comics. There used to be
loose.
ash cans that were different sizes. There were magazine size books. John Celestri's first ad campaign was magazine, or his first comic campaign was magazine size. It was pretty. It was square bound trade paperbacks.
There's still communities out there that still do mini comics. There's podcasts dedicated to them. I'm going to try to get on a couple of guys who specifically deal with mini comics.
And you go over to Italy or in a lot of these other countries, you're seeing them playing with the different formats. There's capabilities of doing different formats. The Bernelli books over in Italy. Even the big artistic albums that come out that are really higher class. You can go in every direction that you want, and even into that accessible direction that I was talking about earlier. Newsprint, black and white, just to get it into a 5 and below, or a dollar store, or whatever. Look at all the puzzle books that are out there now. Newsprint books. I look at every time I go to the grocery store, they've got books on making wine. They've got books on dieting, Old Farmer's Almanac, right next to those Archie books. It's like, how come there can't be all sorts of different comics up there too? Maybe Archie's got a stranglehold because they've been out for so long and they've got a hold on certain racks. I don't know, because they were the ones that were doing those Marvel digests not too long ago. And those were good too, except for the reprints that they were choosing in those books were either reprints everybody's already read or they were too dark to be read on newsprint. So there's a lot of problems that need to be solved. Even the DC 100 pagers, that were in Walmarts. The biggest problem with those books was the fact they weren't visible. They weren't around the other comics. They were stuck next to the Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And they still sold a little bit. The retailers complained, and the retailers started selling them. But that 100-page format is really good. It's $5. Nowadays, it'd probably be $7. Still be worth it. You know, there's got to be room to play, and we're the ones to figure out how to do that because we're the independents and we're the alternatives. So that's my opinion. And price point's going to have to fluctuate with that, with however the market will take.
I want to highlight something that SK brought up earlier is, you know, when it comes to digital, not less digital, more digital.
Yeah.
So here he is, he's inundating, you know, the person who's backing at that particular, you know, pledge tier. You know, here's a whole flood of digital awesomeness for this price. And so
Humble
like,
bundle.
who's not going to jump at that? Yeah. Who, you know, so like, you know, what's stopping us, Randy, you and I, like, having on these crowdfunding campaigns, what's stopping us from having multiple these same issues as the digital to get people to line up for it? You know?
Well, right now we're just getting underway. We're just getting products together. We're in the foundation stage of doing it. That's definitely something to look at a year or two down the line. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I hate to cut it off, but we hit our 2-hour mark. You know, so
already.
We're gonna wrap it up. Jay, you got anything else to say before we cut out?
No, baby, we're ready to rock and roll.
All right, cool. Now, for myself, I'll answer the question real quick. I agree with Justin. $6.99, I think, is gonna be that cap. It's just gonna be a little bit too much. $4.99 is expensive. I stopped buying floppies at around $2.99. I primarily, except for indies, I'm primarily all just trades and hardcovers, and that's it. So yeah, those are the things I enjoy. And here's the one thing I always suggest to anybody: go buy them at a discount. You don't have to pay full prices for suckers, but you know, whatever. So let's start with Mr. Peter, please. Let us know where you can find you and your work, sir.
You can find me mostly on Facebook, Peter Breau on Facebook, or Peter Breau comic book writer on Facebook. I haven't yet figured out how to manage Instagram, and I've heard it's quite easy to do, but I'm a Luddite, I guess.
Well, real quick, Peter, just so you know, you can connect your Facebook to Instagram, and whatever you post on Facebook can transfer to Instagram automatically. Just so
I didn't know that.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Really?
Go ahead.
Well, see, I'm unaware of it, eh?
Mm-hmm.
You know. But yeah, and
sure
for whoever wants to, can go to Sequential Magazine and vote for these damn kids for Canadian Independent Comic Book of the Year. And, you know, I have the Deliver Us from Evil Kickstarter campaign going. And then after that, we're going to launch Alessio and Osserino and I are going to launch a Mud Madness campaign. It's World War I horror stories. Those comics are complete too. We have 2 issues that are already print ready. So, you know, just look us up.
All right, cool. Rodney, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Hey, guys, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch at Rodney Fyke Art. You can also find me at Hazm.com. That's HAZZUM.com. You can check out all of our books. And right here on the Indy Comics Network. Thursday night throwdown at 8 p.m. every week. Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. for Fyke It Let's Draw. And Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. for Sketchy Saturdays.
Nice.
And we are live with Doghouse right now on Kickstarter. So go check it out, back it, share it out, all that fun stuff.
Very nice.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at Rodney. At Randy's new legally changed name.
Old man shouting at clouds.
There you go.
Shouting at clouds. Is
can I call you Omshak?
Hey, past Master Dan.
Sure. Omshak.
Omshak.
All right. So, Justin, where can they find your work, sir?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter mostly at Justin K. Sweet. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram by extension because of the little trick I found that I shared with you just a moment ago, Peter. Yeah, you can also see me on whether I'm either going to be in the chat, sometimes I'm on the panel, but you can see me on Thursdays on Nerd Bacon, which is Luke Stone Studios channel. And yeah, that's a pretty lively, some lively discussions on there. And also, yeah, Chrome Dog live right now. We're closing in. We're only $800 away from our first stretch goal. So help us get there. Also, the art, the black and white Lion Art edition is going to be shutting down soon, and then also the Lepresti cover will be going away. So back off and back early, man. So Chrome Dog, Indiegogo, check it out.
Very nice. Mr. Lanning?
Hey, as always, you can check me out at Linktree / Michael Lanning for Twitter, Instagram, and, well, I say Twitter. I think I remember the last time I was on Twitter. But Instagram, Facebook, portfolio. Of course, always, like we said, check out Doghouse Kickstarter. Apparently that there's going to be more. I didn't know that, but that's cool. And also go to Arrow. I'm going to take Randy's thunder here a little bit too. Go to arrowcomics.store. Check out Calico Shard. I did that work too, believe it or not. And yeah, and also right on the Indie Comics Network, Sketchy Saturday for right now. So.
Issue 2 coming soon. Issue 3 in production as soon as possible.
Nice. Right.
Damn. She's gonna be busy.
She's gonna be real busy.
Yep.
Well, I may be soliciting his help on something as well. So we'll see.
God damn.
There we are. Deep and busy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Went from no work to tons of work. Right?
He's sitting over there like, yeah.
That's a bunch of work I had. Busy and success. JD's thinking now how he can use you. So.
Oh, don't he has.
Rosario, I mean.
Rosario?
Well, listen, I hear, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the knock. I'm sorry for the knock right now. But I hear there is one hell of a more talented artist in the Lanning household.
That's probably true. That's probably true. I have to get coloring advice from her.
Yeah.
Especially.
Listen, brother, I'm hearing the name making the rounds.
I will confirm that.
As shiny talent, baby.
She is phenomenal.
Okay.
She is phenomenal.
That's okay. She's a hack. But no, really. And I don't, and she knows I'm picking with her on that. No, yeah.
No, now's the time for you to say you taught her everything she knows.
I'm waiting for her to teach me. What do you mean?
Why are you waiting?
Asking her, like, how do you color this? Because she's busy doing everybody's stuff for her. I hired her so she can teach me how to do something.
I've got an 8-year-old granddaughter who's bringing me anime pictures that startled the hell out of me because at 8 years old, I was barely doing stick figures.
Yeah.
And she's doing full anime figures. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
Randy, where can they find you and your work, sir?
And she loves the cool cat kid club too. So, but yeah, you can find me over at arrowcomics.store. You can find that Calico book over there. You can find Paragon, which is a great superhero title that I created, that has artwork by J.R. Harris. But you can also find HeroBot Zero, 2 issues of it over there. That's a 3-foot tall giant robot defending his city from incredibly large monsters as long as he can do it on the clock or time and a half for hazard pay. So that's a great fun book. You'll see a lot more of that. You'll see a lot more Revolt coming out soon as well. So that's an anthology title that everybody is welcome to put stories in. And we've been putting some nice issues together on that. There's a lot of great Arrow Comics product coming up really, really quick. So plus the Fool #1, all that has to be done is lettered, and the final colors come in. Calico 2, Paragon 2, Paragon 2. There's a lot more in the works. There's a Revolt 2. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Rosario, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Unstoppable Comics, ladies and gentlemen. All roads lead to and from Unstoppable Comics for me. So you can find all of our social media links at the website, and you can find out more information about the upcoming Limbo Open Almost All Eternity launching in 2 weeks.
And if I get one more plug in, I'm also on the Indie Comics Network. I do 2 shows. Sunday morning, I do Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m., where we talk about the great stuff that inspires us. And Friday mornings at 5 a.m. of all times, Eastern Standard Time, we look through some great old sequential art by the great masters, Comics by Night. We've spent the last 2 episodes just on Walt Simonson's Manhunter alone. And,
You know, I watch that when I get to work, right? You know,
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Cool. That's great. Leave a comment, leave a like. Let us know. Yeah, our numbers are really high, even though when we might have 5 or 10 people watching us as we're live, but those numbers climb all through the week. So
well,
we love doing it.
It's got a heck of a trailer. I love the trailer because you're so quiet, and then all of a sudden you got the thing at the end. It's hilarious.
That was provided by Meredith. The cupcakes and the explosion, that was all her.
Okay.
That's why I put that
nice.
there. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
That was out of love for her. So yeah, Comics by Night, 5 a.m. Friday morning. And if any of you guys want to be up that early, let me know. I'll send you a link. We'll talk about these books. We got one more episode of Simonson we're going to do. We got Alex Toth coming up, Alex Nino coming up. Just some great artists. We sit there and we decipher the art. We talk about how great they are and their positioning and composition. And it's every episode is almost like a lesson in sequential art. A lot more than what you can get at our local community college. I can guarantee you that. Anyway.
All right. So there you go. So everybody,
yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. I mean, this was awesome. All the links are in the show notes. So go hit those buttons, go hit those links, go buy some books, go buy some indie comics, especially ours. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night. You can see us here. You see me here every Sunday, just about. Next week we'll be on Jay's show, right? Next Saturday, we're going to be talking.
Saturday night, 9 o'clock. Jay the Unstoppable on YouTube, hanging out, bullshitting, talking about some of the happenings at last week's Comics Pro.
There you go. Exactly. So there you go. So you can check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, DeviantArt, all under JD Calderon. Check out the OswaldChronicles.com, TallTalesOnline.com, and I'll be talking to you all soon. Have a great night, guys. Thank you. You guys are all awesome.
See ya.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later. Good night.